Nobody in greyhound racing has achieved more than Charlie Lister OBE, a man who began life as part of the travelling community and went on to rewrite the record books time and time again.
Well, I was born in a little village in Yorkshire called Roadcliffe, and my family were travelling people, and I went to school there while I was 12, and then I never went to school no more. And I've had dogs all my life. I was brought up with dogs. My dad had dogs. And then my dad was an horse dealer. He used to deal in horses and we used to have horses, and he used to go to fairs, Appleby Fair and different fairs, buying and selling them and stuff like that. And no, it was good.
And from the age of 12, when you left school, you've never worked for anyone since, have you?
Never worked for anyone in my life, no.
And yet you've made a success of yourself from a business point of view, made plenty of money. Doing what?
Yeah, I was, doing a bit of wheeling and dealing and buying stuff and buying this. I'd buy vehicles, I'd sell vehicles, I'd do anything really, you know. So I always was learnt, like if I bought out for £100, I had to sell it for 200. So that kind of, I worked on that, and I didn't go too far wrong, like, you know.
You've credited a man called Joe Booth for teaching you a lot about greyhounds and sparking your interest. Tell me about him.
Well, Joe lived near Mansfield, and he was a flapping man, and he also had a licence as well, but he used to do a lot of flapping. And I had a couple of dogs with Joe years ago, and I used to go about with him with the dogs, and we used to take them flapping and all sorts. And then as it went on, I kind of started on my own, but Joe was a very good trainer.
You learnt a lot from him?
I did, yeah.
And the dog that sort of put you on the map, I suppose, in terms of your breakthrough dog was in 1985, Glamour Hobo, who is Scottish Derby runner-up. Was that your first dog that sort of achieved something for you?
He won the Enloe Derby as well, that dog. He belonged to Travelling Lad, actually. He was a bare-fisted fighter, this kid. Called him Bob Gaskin, he belonged to him. And he bought him, and he rung, I'll be telling lads to say I brought him. He had him himself, and I went to Kinsley one night and they were flapping, and I had a dog in a race. And Bob said, I've got a dog in this race here. And he said to me, would you get somebody to put me 1,500 quid on it? I'm going back a long while ago. So I said, well, if I were you, Bob, I'd cut your bet in half. And he said, why? I said, well, I'm not going to tell you what dog it is, but I've got a dog in the same race. So I said, if I were you, I wouldn't, I'd half it. He said, oh, my dog's, he won 10 races on Trotting Island. I said, well, it's up to you. But anyway, when they brought this dog out and I seen it in the paddock, I thought, well, you're not going to win, note. Because it was like that, it was like a bull terrier, because he didn't know how to train dogs. So anyway, my dog won it, and Bob said to me, take that dog back with you so you can do it. And we had him back here, and then we had him up. He won Blackpool Derby, he won all flapping derbies, that dog did, Glamour Hobo. And then we took him up to the track work closed down, Rye House. He broke track record there. He won the Enloe Derby, and he got the final Scottish Derby, I think it was, yeah.
Runner-up in the Scottish Derby.
Yeah, a good dog he was.
Your first classic came in 1993. Do you remember that? Cesarewitch.
Oh yeah, he was a couple had a dog on Bellevue running in graded, and I used to go to Bellevue, and he said to me, I've seen this dog run this now, and he run really strong, you know, finished strong. And he came up to me and he said, I paid quite a bit of money for this dog, Charlie, but we can't seem to get it to win, like. I said, oh, what's he got on its card? So he told me what he got on its card, and I said, he said, would you take him, see what you can do with him? I said, yeah. So he brought him here, and that was the first. I had a good bitch in that Sarwich as well, Spenwood Magic, and he won with that, and he won the final, the race.
It's killing our dream, isn't it?
Killing our dream. He also won second in the TV trophy at Sunderland, and it was a nice little dog. It was a white dog with a bit of colour on him. But no, it was a good little dog, he was.
You've won so much. We need to start with the derbies, I think. Let's talk about Some Picture first of all. What did that first English derby win in 1997 mean to you personally?
It meant a lot to me, really. Everybody wants to win derby, don't they? And at the end of the day, he went through the derby unbeaten, and he beat a good field of dogs in the final. He went through the Scottish Derby unbeaten, and he went to Ireland. He did get to the final, but in the final he weren't right.
2000 and 2001 Rapid Ranger. Did you think he could win 2 derbies back to back?
I didn't think he could maybe win 2 derbies, but I did think, well, I'd seen of him, he could have won a derby, you know what I mean?
An unbelievable feat, isn't it, for a greyhound to win 2 derbies?
Oh, it is. It's hard to win one, isn't it, really? You know.
So that night at Wimbledon, when you crossed the line in front for the second time, what were you feeling?
Well, you see, you can win trainers' championships and the one-off things and all like that, but it's not like winning derby. Any trainer what says he'd sooner win a trainers' championship or something like that than the derby, well, they're telling lies, because there's no way. It's a different feeling altogether when you win the derby. When you walk around with that trophy, and you know, it was brilliant, really. Yeah.
So then I guess 2003, you kind of didn't get that moment really with Philo Verdict, which was a shame.
No, I didn't get that moment with her. No, she was a good bitch. You know, the only thing is the dog what won it didn't get it because of whatever it was, and she got it. But she won the Scottish Derby. She beat 2 of Pat Buckley's dogs in that. She broke the track record when she won that, and she won a lot more races besides. And she was a brilliant bitch, like, you know.
So at this point, you've got 4 derbies under your belt. You then leave a 7-year gap when you head into the 2010 derby with Bandicoot to Pokey.
Yeah, I didn't want to win too many on trot. It's nice to get your hand on that trophy. It's a brilliant trophy, and as I say, the atmosphere of winning the derby, poor old Wimbledon's gone, but the atmosphere there were good.
Then 2011, so back-to-back derbies for you again, this time with Taylor Sky, who was an incredibly young dog to win it. You've done it with back-to-back, you've done it with a bitch, now you were doing it with a pup.
Yeah, he came out and he was a pup, yeah, and he won the derby. He won the Enloe Derby, didn't he? He won quite a lot. A good dog.
Your last derby winner, remember that one?
Sidder's Jack.
2013.
Yeah, he was a pup as well. I never thought he was going to win derby when I bought him and said to him, the dog's there, but I said to Simon, I think he'll be a good dog. Anyway, we took him to Nottingham one night, put him around there, and I couldn't believe it. He did 17.55, and I rung Simon up and said, I think you got a derby dog. And it turned out that way.
Turned out to be the winner, and it meant a lot to you that night. You were holding 7 fingers in the air. Do you feel like you need to remind people how good you are?
No, not really.
Everyone knows it, don't they?
I'd hope so.
There's so many wins, too many to single out individually, but 7 Scottish derbies. You've become a bit of a legend up in Scotland as well. Which ones stand out for you there?
Really, I ought to say Some Picture, because he went through it unbeaten, and then he went on to win the English Derby, and he finished in the final in the Irish Derby. But this dog, he came over and they asked me to see what I could do with him, and anyway, I galloped him down, and I was going to Scotland, so I said to him, before you put him in English Derby, try him in Scottish Derby. And he came out and he won all the rounds and won the final.
The other competition that you're just synonymous with, the East Anglian Derby, 12 times a winner.
Yeah.
What is it about Yarmouth?
I don't know. Really.
You like the seaside? Sea air?
Yeah, I used to go, I went up there for years, like, you know, and it's been a lucky place to me. I think I won it first time with Swift Band. It's a long time ago, isn't it?
Yarmouth's been a lucky track for you, though. 2 TV trophies, 96 and 2000, Sexy Delight and Suncrest Sail.
That's right.
Added the TV trophies to your CV.
Yeah. Sexy Delight we better actually. See out of some picture. And the other Suncrest Sale, he was a good dog. He won 13 races on the trot, that dog. And they used to give us £500 to take him to run him on tracks.
Because he was so popular.
Yeah,
people wanted to see him.
Yeah, he won the Grand Prix, and he won the TV trophy. And I'll never forget that day. We was in the Yuppie Bar, they used to call it, at Walthamstow at this end, and we were stood in there, and there was Ernie Gaskin and all them, and the people who had, I think it was I Night, the bitch, and the owner said to me, he said, "Oh, Ernie says that if I Night's the length behind your dog, going round the track," he said it'll beat him. I said, "If I Night's the length behind my dog, that's where it'll stop."
And that's what happened.
And that's what happened. He won it. Yeah, he come from behind him actually and won it. Yeah.
You mentioned Spring Rose.
Yeah.
She won you a St Ledger, and you've got 3 of those.
Yeah, she won St Ledger. She was a great bitch. Spring Rose. She won the best I've ever had, I think. She was a nervous freak though, wasn't she? Nobody could do no way, could they? And when you took her anywhere, she used to have the tail between her legs, and you couldn't have no way. And only time she was all right when you walked onto the track to the traps, and she used to drag you to the traps. And she was completely different when she went track. But she won the Grand Prix and that as well, she did.
And then the Oaks, you didn't manage to get that till 2011.
Yeah,
Silverview Perky picked you up in Oaks.
Yeah, I won the Oaks with Silverview Perky. I thought she was a right good bitch, Silverview Perky. She got a good pace, and she got the trip well, and yeah.
Good job you got an Oaks, otherwise you wouldn't have had the full set of classics.
No, and I got one now.
And of course all this meant that you in 2011 received an OBE, which was amazing for the greyhound racing industry.
Well, it was, yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, it's the same as I said when I got it, it weren't so much for myself, it was for the greyhound industry,
But what a day for you and your family to go to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
You proud?
I'm proud, yeah.
Nice to meet Prince Charles. What did he say?
He said, he shook my hand and he said, it was a big thing for dog racing, because nobody had ever got anything like this before, and it brought it more on par with horse racing and everything. And then when I was ready to come away, he shook my hand and he said, "Oh, you seem to win all the big ones, don't you?"
So he follows greyhound racing?
He must do.
Amazing.
That's what he said, yeah.
You've always trained here in Newark. It would be wrong for me not to mention your latest edition, because Derby wins put a smile on your face, but so do Jack Russell's, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
And tell me about your latest edition.
He's a little Papillon cross with Jack Russell. He's like a little ball of fluff, and he's a beauty, he is.
And you've actually named him after another dog that you had here, who is an absolute legend.
Yeah, Philo Tango. I called him Tango.
It's not all been easy for you, has it? You've got a lovely wife, Pat, and daughter Tracy, and you've got 2 sons as well, but it's not always been easy for you. You lost your wife very young prior to Pat, didn't you?
She was Val was 47 when she died. And
how much did the dogs sort of help you through that time?
Well, to be quite truthful, I was going to pack dogs in at one stage, and then the owner said, what would you do if you pack them in, and so I decided then to keep going,
How do you think your dad will be remembered?
I always say he's a legend, so that's what I would want people to think. I would think they'll remember him for all the races that he's won, because nobody's, not, the top racers. Nobody, I wouldn't think, would ever achieve what he's done. So I would hope that he will be remembered for his time with the greyhounds, and especially when he got the OBE, he did it it's not just for himself. He thinks of that OBE is for the greyhound industry to to bring that into the spotlight more. So I would hope that he will be remembered as a man who could win lots of big races, really.
How proud are you of
Oh,
him?
I can't say. Words, I can't say how proud I am because I'm so proud.
What's been your favourite time in the sport in your life?
I would like people to appreciate what I've done, and also I think one of the main things really was actually winning derbies and stuff, but you know, I wouldn't people if they don't like me, I'm not worried about that, as long as they respect me for what I've done, really.
As a greyhound trainer?
As a trainer, yeah.
Is it a life you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've loved the racing dogs, and I've enjoyed what I've done. I've been lucky enough to meet some nice people. No, I've enjoyed what I've done, and we've had a good life. We've not wanted for anything, and I've achieved things with the dogs, maybe what a lot of people haven't done. So, no, it's been really nice.